So you can see in the picture, the whole entire tank museum area is actually military zone, and the tank museum, you can see around it the zones are all barbed wired with was it roadblocks and all that sort of things. So you can see the place is really restricted, and the museum is actually entirely run by military active servicemen. They're not run by any form of outsiders. Like even the toilet is actually cleaned by the soldiers, not by uh, any sort of what do you call it? They basically they don't pay people to work there. I suspect there is volunteers, but I haven't seen any on that day. And here's the Type 96 main battle tank. It is the main tank in China's service currently. It has a 125 smoothbore main gun with really powerful engine. I can't remember what it was. I think it was German engine anyway. Well, it is fantastic to see it here. It is fairly cheap to manufacture, and it is manufactured in Mongolia, where the factories are. The main battle tank. It is 40 something tons, lighter than the Challenger, and then there's the Type 99, which is the elite version, even better. The 132 light tank, I think that's the WZ-132. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the 122 medium tank, which I'm not sure what that is. I have no clue what it is. 59.2. Again, we don't know if this is in the game or not. I don't think so. And then 59.1. You get a T-34 but I haven't seen it like that. But yeah, tell me what this is. This is like it looks like a Type 63, but you can see there's no tracks. It doesn't seem to be able to move anyway, but it has a real turret, so it's not mock. I'm not sure what that is used for. The Su-76, this is like sent to China to for the PLA tank force to use, and I believe it might have fought maybe in Korean War, or maybe it didn't go there. But I'm pretty sure they sent ISUs in Korea, but then they didn't use it that much. So you can see it is fairly well in condition. It's not broken or anything. But I'm pretty sure that there aren't that many technicians to maintain the tank. As you can see, even the name is C White 76. And then the ISU, of course, you get everywhere in the museum. You can see there's quite a lot of them. There's different versions, and each one of them, I believe, have a background story to them. You can just see how big this one is. This is ISU 122, not 152. You don't get this in the game, but you can get the ISU 152 with a 122mm gun, which is the same as this. The museum does have loads of those spare road wheels of those Soviet tanks, and then on the fuel tank it all marked with the word diesel on it. I have to say the tank is pretty tall as well, and you can see some sort of liquid on the floor. I don't know what it is. Is it leaked from the vehicle? I don't know. I think the vehicle can be moved. I think it can be driven. I think. But you do need to like apply some sort of adjustments as well. And then the famous 152 Ultra Derp gun, it looks like a cigar rather than a cigarette. It is just too big. And then yeah, it's pretty good to see them here, and especially they have 3 or 4 of them. I can't remember how many, but you can see the clear hooks, or what you call them, which you put the fuel tanks in. And then the museum have other tanks in display outside, which is in the open. Really, they're not that well maintained. The ones in the buildings are mostly Soviet, I believe. And I think where the vehicles were driven in, it was the other side. So I'm filming this direction. So the opposite direction is this direction where the hangar, the house, opens up, to which this thing's placed in. And I don't think the building is built over the tanks. This tank was driven into the building. It's not like the Kubinka Tank Museum where the mouse was just placed there, and then they built a massive building around the mouse because they couldn't move the mouse. And the IS-2s, there's two IS-2s. They're all in well, they're not that well maintained, but they're not broken in any way. So I'm sure they can drive it if they really want to, but then they don't do it here, which is a shame. And they have the engine taken out, I think, on the side. They're their own engines. And then the IS-2, I have to say, it would be really fearsome to have it running. And then you see the spare rubber. I think it's rubber, or I don't know. It doesn't. It's not any sort of metal. I don't think. It feels slightly softer than metal. Maybe some sort of hardened rubber. Maybe, I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you know. And then the standard IS-2 back, and it says diesel 608. I don't know what the 608 is for. But the vehicles are, you can see, undamaged, so it didn't really participate in any sort of action which got them damaged. But apparently they did send a few tank companies of IS-2s to the Korean War, but I'm not sure if any of them actually fought, so that's a shame. And then T-34-85, they all got sent to Korea. Some of them, I think, were actually built in the Czechoslovakia at the time. I think there is one in Bovington Tank Museum where there's a T-34. I think it says built in Czechoslovakia or something like that. It wasn't built in the Soviet Union, but it got sent to the PLA army to fight against the Americans. T-34-85, this one's colored green. Some of them outside is colored more, cool fashion, I would say. It's got multiple colors on them that looks more like those camo paints you have to pay for in water tanks than this traditional green color. The tanks are kind of dusty. They don't really clean it, I guess. But they say you shouldn't climb on it, but you know, nobody really is in here, and nobody really put any sort of signs on the tanks, which is a good news. You can see all sort of stuff they have in display. I think they're like some sort of oh, that's the aim sight of the tank, and I think they show you some part of the the engine compartment. This tank, you can go inside. I will show you a video where I actually go inside with a flashlight. It is super warm inside. It's a T-54, former Soviet Union. It's got English in the description, and the tank is pretty decent. I had a look at the side and all that. You can see the boxes, and I think they're fuel tanks or some sort of liquid containers. I think they're diesel anyway. And then they have like a few boxes where the crew can put tool boxes there. And yeah, the T-54. But inside, the whole entire tank was always built in the Soviet Union. The radio, for example, the A220, is all in Chinese. And I have to say, the tank, I think I went inside here when I was little. Back in the day, I think this tank was in the Beijing Military Museum, not the Tank Museum. But I think it got transferred here anyway. So you can go inside, which I didn't know at the time. When I was about to leave, I asked the soldiers there, and they told me you can go in this one. And various M3 stewards, the Americans supplied loads of them to the Chinese nationalists, which they, in the end, they still lost to the communists, and they ran onto Taiwan, and they formed another government in Taiwan. Yeah, they left loads of tanks there, and then the communists capture them and use them. Oh, you can see the rear of the steward is open, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't really go in there. Uh, they have quite a lot of steward really. I haven't seen an M5 steward yet. I don't think they have an M5 steward, but outside there's a dummy steward they use for filming. Was it a film? Various TV shows, TV series, or those war ones. They have like this mocked up M5, M3 or M5 steward, and then it's made of just thin layer of metal, and then yeah, with a wooden gun. But from the camera, you can't really notice it anyway. You can see the radios. I think that is the A220. Does it say it? Yeah, A220 radio. And then behind me, I think is some Japanese tank. I don't know what that is. Is that a tier 2, tier 1 thing? Like I'm not sure about it. It's small and it's ugly, so I'm pretty sure I'm not that interested in this tank. The Soviets all have a better design, and then this thing is what you have to see. Apparently the only complete stored version of this Japanese ultralight tank. They call it the ultralight or the super light tank. It's so what do you call it? It's so light, even for a tank, even for a light tank. And that's the stuff they found from the tank. It was they found it in the bottom of a river, I think, and yeah, you can see all the remains, and it's one of the museum's most important display available. And you see the helmets of the Japanese. They're all in pretty good condition, and the katana and the shitty binoculars the commander uses, which is you can see is shit. And then the tank is placed in a glass frame. It shows you how Type 94 ultralight tank. Okay, I don't know, Type 94, or in Chinese it says Type 94 ultralight. How they have it, and apparently in 1989 or something, I didn't see that properly, but I think it's 1989. They took it out from the river. So here it is. It's really small. It's like a small car really. And then they're famous. I think this is the gun you get in a Type 59. I think. I can't be 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure anyway. It's on display outside, and I had a feel of the shells, and they had a few massive caliber shells they had on display, and I tried to grab them and take them, like I tried to lift them up, but it didn't move an inch, and that was the feeling where I thought, okay, sometimes you try to lift something, but you feel it's super heavy. You manage to lift it a millimeter off the ground, but the shell I tried to lift was just too heavy that I couldn't even get it off the ground. It was just that difficult. I tried all my strength, but I just can't do it. So I don't know what shell that was. It didn't have a name on it or anything. So yeah, but it was extremely heavy. I think it might be as heavy as what do you call it? ISU Ultra Dub gun. I don't know. But you can see there's many versions of the T series, the Type series actually. I don't know what some of them are, but you can see there's a weird looking one on the right, designated 203. The Chinese tanks all came from the Type 59, which the Soviets gave after the war, and because the Soviets became enemies, they left the development, and then the Chinese engineers has to modify, design, and innovate using the Type 59 as the basis, and then you can see the Type 69, which they got some of the technology. They copied some of the technology from the Soviet T-62A, which I'm gonna show you in another video, which I went to the Beijing Military Museum to see. That tank was actually sank on a border conflict when the Russians drove the tank onto a ice block. It's like an island, and then when the tank was on ice, our soldier had a RPG and then blow the tracks off. And the Soviets, in order to destroy the tank, they sent artillery bombarding the ice, and it got sank basically. And then a month later, they took it out of the water again, and they put it into the museum, and they investigated the equipment, and then they made, of course, discoveries of how each thing works, and then basically they learned a lot of things from the T-62A, which they captured, and then they made the Type 69, and then the series became was it homemade again, and then later now it reached Type 99. Type 99 at the moment is definitely on par with the American tanks, but the good thing is it's cheap. So for the same sort of technology, with something that's even better than the Abraham, it has, well, it's like the T-34 85 beat the Tiger. Well, it is worse, but every one Abraham comes out, there's probably 3 Type 99, also or more, you know. Stuff like that you can't really predict or measure. And there's like loads of amphibious vehicles. You can see from the shovel front, it looks like a shovel or something, some sort of like that. They're all amphibious tanks, I would say, or personnel carriers or landing craft, whatever you call them. And yeah, there's tons of them here, and they don't even have description on them. It's more like a scrapyard where the military, the out of service tanks, they place it here just for display. And then the T-34 85, which I saw and I climbed onto on the very edge of the museum, and you can see inside is dusty, of course. The hatches are open, so rain would definitely go in there. But I'm pretty sure when the summer comes, the tank, well, it's not wet inside, because the whole entire holiday I went to China for a month was just 35 degrees and above. So really, that you can't. It's not wet in there like it would be in Europe. Well, Northern Europe anyway. You can see the tank is definitely not capable of moving again. It's wide up, so I couldn't really get in. But you can see the height of the tank, and how the Soviets used to get their soldiers on the side of the T-34 85 while they make a charge. It's a pretty interesting tank, really. Well, the T-34 85, I think it is a pretty good design. It seems pretty decent. It seems pretty solid, and it's quite small in comparison, of course, to the Tiger and stuff like that. And of course, the mass manufacturing capability of the Soviets is phenomenal. And I think that's reached the end of the video. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 2. But I think I will actually post the Type 59 video first, which I went inside. And yeah, sorry for my bad filming, but yeah, thank you.